my case. All right, so let's talk about the Oscars. There's a lot to talk about the Oscars, and my big umbrella that I want to bring up about the Oscars is diversity. Is that there are a lot of folks up for something. Not all the people we think should be up for something, because we've talked about that here. I'm missing my girl Rada, of course, and I'm gonna say that until it's over. So that means I get to talk about this part about Rada until Sunday. Uh, I'm but my thing is diversity. There's a lot of Black folks that are up for things. There's Asian folks that are up for things. There's maybe some Latino folks that are up for things, and we do have a Muslim that's up for things. So I just want to open the floor, and I'm going to start with my Latino person first, because that's all she want to talk about. Ahead of time, I don't even know if she Black. I said, this time I said Black people. I ain't say African American. She might claim African American. No, she don't claim African American because she comes from Brazil. But I'm just bothering you. I'm bothering you. Katya, what do you think about?
I think the person that is Latinx, that has said it in everything that's in his bio, that gets overlooked because he happens to be Black, is Shaka King. There has not been enough coverage from Latin outlets. He should be on the cover of People in Espanol, Hola USA, and the list goes on and on. Remespa is one of the few outlets that has talked about him as being nominated. I mean, I know that there's a drought with Latinx actors and talent and things like that, but let's also celebrate him because he is of Panamanian descent on both sides, directly from his mother, and his mother is, directly from his father, and his mother is half Panamanian. And, he owns that part of his heritage. And I think it's also important because we're still struggling as Afro-Latinos for people to understand that you can be Black and Latin at the same time.
I think that's a really good point. The Latin category, however, was really, really shallow this year. I pointed out to you guys, we got two people from Chile for The Mold Agent, and then we have two Mexicans for Best Sound for The Sound of Metal. That's it. I mean, it is very, very sparse. KB, you were shaking your head there.
Yeah, only just because, I feel like every year the Oscars, we're having this discussion around diversity with the Oscars because it's always a point of contention. Like, yes, I actually love to see how, wide the category for Black artists is this year. Sure. Could there be more? Absolutely. Nicole Beharie. But, which is the hill that I will die on, since you're going to die on the Rada Blank one. But yes, so I'm like, absolutely. Could it be more for the Latinx community? Absolutely. For the Asian community? Absolutely. Am I thrilled for Steven and Riz? Yes, because the performances are incredible. So yes, absolutely. I'm excited, but there can always be more. Am I excited for Chloe? Yes, but more. I just feel like it's a conversation that we're constantly having. And I'm confused about why every single year, like, just give us more.
I don't think you're gonna be too confused because Sean got a thought on that. Sean, why?
No, it's great. I mean, it takes years, and it takes more than just the Academy. We talked about this before on this show. Like it starts at who's providing the money to get films financed, because there's people all over the world from different backgrounds telling stories, but they're all not able to get their stories turned into film because you got to have money to do that. It's a very expensive proposition. And then a lot of times when you finally get the money, you don't get enough money. And if you do get enough money, you don't get the marketing money. And then you don't get the advertising money. And then you don't get the awards money. See, a lot of this is, a lot of people just think it's all the membership's fault, but it's full circle. I mean, there's a lot of slices to this pizza that need to be distributed, and that hasn't always happened. But yeah, the Latinx thing, it's something that definitely needs to be addressed, and we're actually addressing it. That's going to be one of my next projects because the CCA is doing the celebration in that direction. It sort of mimics celebration of Black cinema. We're going to do a celebration of Latinx films. So that's
hopefully that'll involve the Latinx branch of the community. Because I think that
I'm very inclusive. Everything I produce.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying the organization, because I think
I'm producing it. I am the organization. I'm part of the spearheading that.
Okay, so I can finish my thought. That at the end of the day, that is something that's really important, that you have the community that's in tune. You know what I mean? Because there are even members of the community that don't know people who aren't white that are Latinx. Like, I have this conversation with my colleagues all the time. And it's like, oh, I didn't know. And these are people that are prominent figures in the industry that don't know who their fellow Latinos are. So it's pertinent. You know what I mean? This is a big year for Latinx films. You have two major films in the Heights and West Side Story, which will have predominantly Latinx people in it, in front and behind the camera. So I think it's very important because people outside of the diaspora that aren't Latinos, that haven't lived in Latin America, that aren't of that parentage, often confuse and get a lot of things wrong. Good intentions, but the results has been a mess.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. Firstly, that's why we had a show, is to make sure that when you talk about Katia making sure that the community is involved, and Sean talks about, hey, I'm producing something, that means we got the connections right there. That the connections are there to make sure that this is as good as we can possibly do. I do want to pick up on a point that you made, KB, because, and we've talked about it, the three of us have talked about it, is Katia told me, Reggie, you want to watch this movie, Sound of Metal. I'm like, I don't want to watch that. This was good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Sean, you can go ahead and laugh at me. I was like, I didn't want to watch it.
I remember when you said it.
So KB, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know why you didn't want to watch it. I mean, I'm confused, but I'm glad that
it wasn't something like, I wasn't thinking like I want to watch a movie about some heavy metal dude or whatever, but she knew that I should watch this film, and Sean's laughing at me because I will tell y'all, if I'm like, nah, I wouldn't have watched it if somebody didn't say something. And I'm so glad that you mentioned Riz, because I think that if this was any other year, he might win. He might have won an Oscar.
He still has a chance. He just got the Independent Spirit Award last night. He still has a chance. He's got some momentum going in. He's got a chance.
Yeah, he did a great job. So before we
I don't think he's gonna win.
No, but it was
an exceptional performance, right? So Sean's like, he has a margin, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think he's gonna get it, but it does not negate a stellar performance. I will say that.
Katia says to me, she's like, Reggie, there's three people who got a lock. So go ahead and just tell me who got a lock, Katia. Go ahead.
Daniel Kaluuya. He's won everything. No one has, like, he's won all the major awards. He has the momentum. He's the reason everybody's talking about the film. So
he got a lock. Who else?
He's a lock. Chloe is going to win something, and I think the one guarantee is Best Director. It's time. It's time that a director of color won this award. But I mean, like, and a woman. You know, we've had a lot of men and one white woman. So I think she's going to win that. And I also think she's going to win adapted screenplay.
But what's the definition of color? Because there've been a bunch of Mexican men who've won Best.
They're white, though. They're white Mexican.
Okay.
Alfonso Cuarón, all of them are white. They're Latinos 100% because they're Mexicans, but they're still white men.
Wow. So Sean,
nobody looks at them and says, "Ooh."
Wait, but Katia, who's your third? I mean, I think we all know.
Gay three.
I think we all know. My third. No Man. No Man Land's going to win Best Picture. Unfortunately, Netflix is going to be a bridesmaid again, because I think this film does not have. It lost its momentum, and No Man Land is pretty much peaked at the right time. So that film is going to win Best Picture.
And so we got to get off the Oscars, but we can't get off. We just mentioned Black folks, but there's plenty of Black folks that are up for awards. Sean, who are you interested in rooting for on five on the Black hand side?
Well, I mean, we gotta have Best Actress be a Black woman. And, you know, if I had my pick, I would go Andra Day.
Me too.
I think it's leaning more toward Viola Davis, which will also be historical, to be the first Black woman to have multiple Oscar wins. So, I mean, that's a win-win. I just hoping it's one or the other. It will be nice to see Chadwick get recognized. Unfortunately, he's not here, which is really, really sad. Yeah, I think Daniel's in. I don't think anybody else is gonna gonna upset that. But I still have problems living in a world where, Spike Lee still doesn't have an Oscar for directing. Everybody's like, it's time for this, it's time for that. It's like, man, there's a lot of people.
But it starts with the DGA. Nobody will write the article that everybody's talking about all these other branches. The DGA is a problem. Nobody, and again, journalists, whenever we talk about diversity, always want to ask the Black people, hence my tweet, stop asking Black people who are not in a position of authority why Black people haven't won a Best Directing. Ask the people in the DGA. There's a perfect clip out there with Steve McQueen doing a roundtable where he talks about, he finds it astonishing that people are filming films in Chicago, New York, and not even the background actors are Black. And none of the white directors answer that because they know he's talking about them. That's the people you need to start calling out. They put all the people of color in the first-time director category. That's their way of saying, hey, we are acknowledging you. It is criminal that Spike Lee does not have a Best Director Oscar. Again,
it is.
The DGA needs to be called out on their BS.
And
it's also
we do
criminal that the most ignored title of all of this, and for various reasons, is the whole Small Axe anthology.
See, don't get me started.
Yeah,
see,
I know.
We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this forever. We'll talk about this forever. And let me do Katya. So Katya will be like, oh, they didn't market it right. So I already know where she gonna go, right?
Yeah.
Well, I have two different emails from publicists. One is telling me put it in the whatever category I want to put it into. Mm-hmm. The other one's telling me it's a TV series.
No, for sure.
Yeah, they really dropped the ball with Small Axe. Like
this is so criminal that happened. But I don't want to. I want to say something on the Black
4
side.
out of 5 Small Axe films are better than Nomadland.
I don't agree with that, but I mean, it's a different type of Nomadland is a different.
4 out of 5 are better than Nomadland.
Now I'm not gonna say 4 out of 5 are better. Maybe 3 out of 5 is better.
For me.
I'll take that.
It doesn't. Even if it's 3, KB, so I'll take your 3. Yeah. I'm saying, but none of them are up for nothing.
Nothing.
Again, that's the studio's fault.
That is
Amazon had the money to. This is criminal. You are a company that has the money to compete, and you're taking yourself out of the game because you have an in-house marketing team, then you hired an outside marketing team, and those two didn't speak to one another. Each one of them did whatever they wanted, and what happened is the film fell through the cracks. Now, luckily, since they now decided to go with this TV thing, they have a couple months to get it together in time for the Emmy.
And try to get.
But again, everybody needs to speak to one another so you don't have 16 different emails coming out from 16 different houses.
So see, Sean wants to derail me by talking about Small Axe. And see, this is why
Sean threw a little Small Axe bomb in there.
This right. He want to blow up the whole thing. So I just want to touch on, because we can't touch on diversity without touching on our Asian compatriots. And they got a little shine this year. And if anybody wins, it should be for Best Supporting Actress to me, because she, as the grandma, and I have to say, and I don't want to even mess up her name, is Yoon Ya Jung.
That's close.
So she killed it. She killed it. Sean, you interview her?
No, we did not interview her, sadly. Everybody else but her. I know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And she's really the star.
Because
her and Alan.
She's winning. She's gonna win. She's winning.
And she's funny.
Yes, very funny.
She is hilarious. I love her BAFTA speech. Snobbish, called the Brits snobbish. And you know what? She's really right about that. But again, she is, to have a grandmother in a film that is so unconventional, that basically told you, I'm not cooking, I'm not cleaning, I'm just going to watch these kids and watch my TV. That's all you're getting.
And so what's funny, KP, I just want to tell you this. I didn't have to ask Katya to speak because I already knew what she was going to do on this one, because she is like all in for this actress.
I mean, she deserves to win. She deserves to
win.
No. What letter does Minari begin with?
M.
Huh?
M.
All right. What's the last movie that pulled off the Best Picture upset? What letter did it begin with?
M.
There we go. Minari could be Moonlight Sunday.
You right. You know what? That is right. So we're gonna move
That is
on because
true.
we got a lot of stuff to get to, and you guys just throwing bombs all up in my stuff, man.
Just saying,
Look,
if there's an upset to happen, Minari
Minari.
could be this
I
year's
I
Minari.
like that.
I would be
I
mad if
like.
Minari won. It would serve everybody right for trying to other that film and saying it's not American. That would be a really nice ending.
That would, and it's actually insulting.